my YouTube friends. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. So with that said, on today's video, let's get started. Do you know how to speak? So I'm doing this video again because my friend asked me what I meant on my last video that I did a couple of months ago about choosing how to speak life. So I'm going to get into it, more depth into it, and let's take you into my journey. So come on and follow me. So when they ask you, do you know how to speak? You look at me like, what are you talking about? I know how to speak. So what I mean by that is, do you know how to speak? Okay. The law of attraction says is that, and the Bible does say this too, and I always tell people this. The law of attraction says is what you speak is what you create out there. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I can't afford that, that's too expensive, that's a lot of money, or you're always thinking in a negative state of mind and you're constantly putting your thoughts and your speeches of that. So I just realized that not that long ago because I'm learning just along with my YouTuber subscribers on how to manifest more of the lifestyle that I want, manifest more of the joy that I want in my life, and how to eliminate negativity, because the other day I demonstrated it very well, and it was shocking to a lot of my friends, is how I can let people be who they want to be and choose who they want to be without me attacking them. So if they disagree with what I believe in, that's fine. I'm not going to attack them for it because that's their opinion. That's what they believe in, and they should have a right to feel the way they want to feel. Now, if they want to start attacking the other person or vice versa, then, that's when I just won't respond because there's just no point to that. And everybody's like, wow, and I'm not here to prove a point or to disprove your point. That's not the point. That's what I told my friend, is learning how to speak is what I'm talking about, is putting words into your vocabulary that you create, that you tell yourself. For instance, I am strong. I am financially worthy. I am loved. I am beautiful. I am all these things. You constantly have to tell yourself all these things and take out. For instance, I was watching a video and she was saying that these are not in her vocabulary, and I noticed that I was doing that for a while in my financial struggles. That's too expensive. Take that, and I've started doing that. I started taking that out of my vocabulary, or that's because it gives you that feeling like you can't afford it, or it gives you that natural feeling like depression, like you don't want that. You want that out, that feeling out. So take that. It's expensive out of your vocabulary. I can't afford that. It's words that create those feelings, that create those thoughts, like I mentioned, that would take you to that dimension. For instance, if you keep saying, I can't afford that, how do you start to feel? See, a lot of times we create our own financial problems. We buy things because we live like the Joneses, right? We try to buy the next cool iPhone or Samsung Galaxy phone or the next best car that we can't afford, or buy that extravagant house that we can't even afford to show off, because in reality we're drowning in our own debt because we can't. We have to learn how to make within a budget, but start being more grateful for what you have so that you can create more abundance in that and get more of what you deserve. Some people may not agree with me, which is fine, but what I'm saying is, like, for instance, if I keep telling myself, I want that laptop, I want an Apple laptop, and I've been wanting one for a long time, but and I used to always say, they're so expensive, I can't afford that, and I'll always get that negative thinking and always go, I can never afford it, and I'll start feeling sorry for myself, and it's like, no. If you want that, you'll figure out a way to set a budget, set a goal, and somehow it's going to work its way up where you could afford to get it. That is the goal. Stop worrying about how or what's going to give you that. Just start focusing on what. For instance, I tell this to my friends who are married. And I have a lot of friends who don't believe in marriage. And I have a lot of friends that do. And they always say, it's like I told them, because I found this perfect meme. And it said, money is a piece of paper, but yet you love having that around. Marriage is a piece of paper, but yet you can't do that because you have that stigma that signifies. If you speak life into your spouse, like, instead of, this is why I practice this all the time. Whether we're separated or together or not together, I always do this, and I always tell my friends to do this. Key thing is to never talk bad about your significant other, whether if he was future or present or past. If he's the past and it didn't work out, forget it. Wipe that clean and stop talking about them. Don't waste your time. If you have no children with them, don't waste your time. Negative, let that flow out your system, kick them out, and stop thinking of them. If it was a negative, toxic relationship, out. Okay, next. If you do have children with them, fortunately, some of us do, which is perfectly fine, you gotta still speak life into them, regardless. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. So if you're married, this applies to you perfectly. Because I do believe that husbands who always nags are just the same way as wives who always nags. How do you speak of your husband? What do you say? Do you constantly always say, my husband's lazy, all he wants to do when he gets home? And what are your thoughts? Watch yourself. When you're talking like that, how are you feeling? Is it making you happy? Is it making you angry? Is it making you feel all those emotions again? That you keep those emotions, and all of a sudden your husband walks in, he's like, hey honey, how was your day? And you're just like, "Arr!" You're already mad at him before he even did anything to you. And then that spirals into an argument, into just negative things coming, into more negative things, because you created that. See, sometimes we gotta pause. It's like the Bible says, be slow to get angry is the wise one who stops and calms and listens and stops letting those things, because the devil comes to steal, lie, and defeat. And he's gonna want to steal your thunder. So he's gonna want to steal what you thoughts are. And he's going to want to get inside your head and say, yeah, he doesn't do that. So you're going to want to be like, yes, he's lazy. And all he wants to do is have a beer and talk and be on his phone or be watching football games or want to go out, hang out with his buddies while I'm here trying to take care of the kids and put them to bed. What about me? Blah, 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 blah. And then comes home and the husband comes home and he's at work, and what does he do at work? If you're this type of husband, all my wife does is nag that I don't help out with the kids. And that house is hardly ever clean. And then she's always complaining that she doesn't have enough money for this and that we can't get groceries and she needs this and this and that. I give her money for food and then she doesn't even cook half of the time. All she wants to do is go out to eat sometimes. She is so lazy and I am so tired of blah, blah. It's a two-way, and you're just creating a circle that's creating those words, and you start feeling those words because you're in the inside, you're just like in your core, you just feel them and you just release that, and that's exactly what you get. It's the same thing with food. Whatever you put in your body and whatever you put in your system, that's what you're going to create. Same thing with the house. You buy a house, whatever you let in your house, it's what you're creating. How do you want to create your house? How do you want to create your body? You got to stop with everything that you can think of and start choosing the right words and put those into vocabulary. This is the reason why I don't say bad words, and people look at me like I'm an idiot. They always tell me, like, you really don't cuss? I'm like, no. And then, like, some people joke around and go, oh, I don't cuss. And I'm like, it's not even cute. Like, to me, it's like waste of my. But I don't let them steal my thunder, because that's what they try to do, is to try to mock. Don't let them steal your thunder. Okay? For instance, if somebody tells you, like, for instance, my parents laugh at me sometimes because I would say, oh, I'm going to have an Apple laptop one day, and that's going to be my house one day. And I'm going to have that, I have that set mentality, and I'm working on it. And my dad just looks at me. He's like, sweetie, put your feet back on the ground. And my grandfather used to tell me something different. I'm like, why can't you be more like your dad? Your dad, my grandfather goes, he was a poor man, had 11 kids, and he put mostly every single one of his children to college. Only 2 didn't want to go to college. But every single one of my dad went to college, graduated from college. His son went to college. My other uncle graduated from college, went to college. He became an educator. He became a principal, the highest as principal. My other dad's brother became a manager, and he was almost like the store manager, but he was the head manager for a Volvo company because he went to a tech school to become a mechanic, and he loved working in cars, and he became a very good mechanic, and he went to school for that. My grandfather said, I don't care what you want to do in life, just go to trade. So my dad thought that becoming a doctor would be too expensive, and my grandfather couldn't afford that. He couldn't do it, so he decided not to go for it. So he went to technical school. He went to a trade school and learned how to become a machinist. If it wasn't for my grandfather doing that, my dad said he probably would have never made nothing in life. And I was like, okay. I was like, that makes sense. But I told my dad, he pushed you. He used those words. He forced you to use those words, to focus on what you need to do to become something. And that's what I'm talking about. I told my dad, it's like a person who's on drugs. They'll do whatever it takes, and they'll think about how they're going to get there and what they're going to do to get that drug. It's like they almost can taste it and feel it in their gut, in their stomach, and they're just like, because they've seen that, like, that's mine, I'm gonna get it. And they'll do whatever. Sometimes they'll steal. Sometimes women will throw themselves at men's feet to get money and become, prostitutes, whatever, vice versa. They'll get there. And I said, that's not what I want to do or how I want to do, but it's the same, almost the same concept. I said, if you want something, you'll go get it. And this is what I mean. The law of attraction tells you negative things become negative things if you keep thinking of them. And the Bible tells you the same thing. It's just how you create those. You want your marriage to work, then analyze yourself how you talk to your wife. Sometimes that's not the problem, but a lot of times is when we get angry, we say things that we don't mean. Or if we're with our friends, like my coworkers, whenever I was going through the rough patch and my son's dad was incarcerated and he was going through his rough patch, everybody would ask me about him. And one person noticed, you never talk bad about him. Like, he did this to you and you not once. I said, he's such a never will ever hear those out of my, maybe because I'm doing this video, I might have to say them, but never will you ever hear me talk about those. I always say he's a good worker. He is a great person. He is loved by God. And I push words that I know that the universe, and I see things, and I see him in a different light. And I constantly reaffirm those to him. I say, you know what? I'm really proud of the changes you made. You have done an amazing job with your life. And I encourage words that are going to be fruitful and meaningful, and that will inspire. They make me feel just as great as he does, and I feel them in the hard core of my body. So that's what manifestation is, that you have to think, feel it, and just release it to the universe, and it would just, it's not going to be like poof like that. Like, for instance, let's get back to what I was thinking. I've been wanting an Apple laptop for a long time, and I used to always constantly, and I was watching Sunny. She's on YouTube. She's an actual great YouTuber. And she has a lot of great YouTube videos on the law of attraction. And she's the one that said it on her video that she does not say these words. And I used to constantly watch myself saying them without actually really saying them because I was constantly thinking about them. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. That's too expensive. Or why am I even wishing that laptop is out of my price range? Like, I don't make that much money. And I would start feeling down and sluggish. And then I would start feeling sad. And I was like, oh, and when I was noticing that I was doing that, I started, okay, no, I need to reverse that. So I would watch comedy or I'll watch more, read the Bible and reaffirm myself that yes, I can. Maybe it might be that I need that lot because I do photography inside, and that's the main reason why I wanted it. And then also to do more videos for my YouTube channel. And so I said the goal here is to do something good with it. And I asked myself, why do I want this laptop? And I started writing down for photography purposes because it is my business and I do photography. Said, and for school, I'm hoping to go back to school and take some more photography classes online. And then I said, and to be able to create more YouTube videos on my laptop instead of having to use my phone all the time. Or so my son can have something that he can use for Google for school. If his Google computer at school that they gave him um, doesn't want to work, I can let him use that. There's that instead of, because the laptop we have now is very old and it runs very slow and it works and it's fantastic. But whenever I want to upload something, it takes forever and 10 days because it's like really, really old. And I had to reboot it several times, have it recleaned, refined, have somebody, do their intoxication with it because it was full of viruses. And that's what happened is I've let so many people use it that it just gets virus. And that's how it is. I feel like words are like a deadly virus. And a lot of times we are killing ourselves. We're the ones putting those words out there. So in Sunny's video, she said, take out, it's too expensive. And I started doing that, and it's been significant. I've been watching what I do financially and how I spend my money more financially and being more aware of that. And I'm able to be like, okay, I can put $20 for that fund so that I can grow into that fund. And I'm not worried about if it will happen or if it will. I'm more also just focusing on that's what I want and manifesting. And then hopefully someday it might come to me and it may not. It's just knowing that I quit speaking that way and just letting other things take my thunder and learning how to speak in life instead of or because there's a lot of coworkers at my job that do that. They'll be at my work and they'll be like, there's too many people. They view it in a negative way instead of viewing it in a positive way. Like for instance, coronavirus did something amazing for us. It shut down Black Friday. Now because coronavirus has shut down Black Friday, we're able to spend Thanksgiving, which we never were able to, with our families. That's how I view it, is in a positive outpoint. Maybe coronavirus is trying to teach us something and we're just too busy focusing on the negative and we're not finding out how to cure it because we're too focused on you got to wear a mask or you got to social distance. And people are just constantly fighting and arguing and bickering and you're putting your thought into it and it's taking you in that loophole as well. So I always say shift the way you think and the way you speak and it would make a huge impact. I promise you. Even the Bible tells you that. I promise you. That's why I read the Bible every day because that's my affirmation. That's where I get my affirmation from. And I do agree that you are made like the movie. If you guys haven't seen the movie Overcomer, she says her coach asked her, who are you and what's your identity in Christ? And she said, I am loved, I am wanted. And she said all these, and that's exactly how you got to tell yourself, I am. If you want financial status, be like, I am financially stable, and start feeling like you are, and start changing those habits. Because you have to, my opinion is, you got to go into the roots and start finding out what it is. Because a lot of times we are the ones that are putting ourselves in that financial status, because we're constantly choosing to live like the Joneses, or we're just not putting our money where it needs to go, and we are financially costing ourselves that. And we're constantly thinking of that state of mind, like, ugh, I got my bill to pay. How am I going to pay that? Ugh, I can't afford that. Oh, God, here we go again with this bill. It's going to overdraft me. Like, we got to stop, analyze where your money's going, start thinking differently, and start moving things around if you have to, and focus on the things that you do want, and start changing your words on how you talk. Guarantee you it's going to improve your personality. For one, it's going to improve the way you view life, and it's going to make you a happier person. Why? Because you're not going to be this grumpy, always feeling grumpy. Because I notice the people at my job who constantly have a negative way they speak, ugh, I can't stand that lady. They're always angry at something, and they're even more angrier when they talk about it. And it's just like, why are you mad? It didn't kill you. It didn't hurt you. It didn't do anything to you. Why are you so upset? That's why I always tell my friends who are married, watch how you speak to your husband and how you do without him. If you're going to be talking to your friends, listen to the words you choose carefully, of how you describe him, and him the same way how he describes you. It will help. It was in the book. If you never read the book, Love and Respect, I recommend that book, or The Love There. I recommend The Love There. And I recommend Love and Respect. I recommend watching Fireproof. It's an amazing movie. I love it, and I recommend it. But even in the Bible, it tells you, watch how you speak to one another. Slow your tongue so that you can, wise man with your words. Ask God to give you the wisdom to become more wise with how you speak. So this is what I'm talking about. I hope you guys enjoyed this guy's lesson. I really enjoy talking about learning how to speak because I love it. It helped me grow. I think that if it wasn't for me being this way, I wouldn't be as cheerful. I was always a positive person, but I wasn't as cheerful. Now I'm more, everybody's like, oh, I miss your bubbly self. Like, are you sick? Anybody can tell when I'm not feeling good and when I'm not myself, automatically on the spot. And before, people would just be like, they couldn't tell. Now everybody can tell. And I love that because I'm able to even tell within myself, okay, why am I feeling sluggish and letting this get to me? And I start to shift the way I'm thinking of things, and I start to focus more that way instead of this way. And sometimes meditation. If you listen to meditation, perfect. If you listen to there's these things called high frequency sounds, and they say manifest what you want. I listen to high frequency sounds because they're so soothing to my ear that I like how they make me feel. And so that's why I do it. And it calms me down, and I'm just able to relax and I do it while I'm asleep. I do it for 30 minutes before I go to bed, and I'm able to relax and stop thinking and letting my brain go south and stop thinking of all these negative things. So that's where it wants to go most of the time, because we're just always like, blah, 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 and that's what I do. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoy my videos, and if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Click the subscribe button right there and give me a like. Sorry, I can't talk. Hit the like button if you guys want to see more videos like this. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye.